Hey YouTube, what's up? Duncan Ryan coming to you from the Guitar Shed again. Today we're going to be talking about 5 great ways to improve your car. No, I'm just kidding. It's about your guitar. Yeah, right. Anyway, so, my top 5 ways to improve the tone of your guitar. And just so you know, none of this is going to be about amplifiers or anything like that. This is all guitar basics. Number 1, and the most simple way to improve the tone of your guitar, change the strings. You know, a lot of people don't realize it, but when you let a string sit on a guitar for a long time, it starts to corrode, it starts to get loose, it starts to lose that really crisp tone that it has when you first put it on. And you know, I know some people like broken in strings, but there's a difference between broken in and close to breaking, just so you know. So, you want to change your strings. I don't really know that I'd say there's a set time because every guitar is a little different depending on the conditions you keep your guitar in. But just when you feel like it's starting to lose that tone, first thing to do, change the string. And, you know, I'd also change them all at once. That way you know that they're wearing out evenly across the fretboard. Number 2, get your guitar set up. Any music shop should do this. If you have a local mom and pop store or like a guitar center locally, something like that, take your guitar in, and they will set it up depending on the type of guitar, meaning whether it's a tremolo bridge or a tune-o-matic bridge. It'll usually be between like $20 maybe for a simple tune-o-matic setup to somewhere near $50 for a tremolo setup like a Floyd Rose like I have on this guitar right here. And the thing with that is, what it'll do, it won't make your guitar sound really different, but it will make it sound just a little bit better. And the thing with that is the intonation, which means how evenly spaced your intervals are in terms of the guitar. In other words, when you sound a note just open string, and you sound it at the 12th fret on the same string, it should be the exact same note, just 1 octave higher. And sometimes that's the case, sometimes it's not. But if you have that where it's deviating from that, it'll really make your guitar sound bad over time, and the further you go off from that, the worse it's going to sound. Number 3, and now we're starting to get into definite modifications of your guitar, would be new pickups. There are a lot of aftermarket pickup companies that make really great pickups you can have put in your guitar. Again, I'd recommend going to a guitar store to do it, or just a music shop, something like that. Unless you happen to be good with electronics yourself. I'm not, so I have mine put in. But some of the major companies are Seymour Duncan, EMG, DiMarzio, and Lace, which makes single coil pickups. And what that'll do, it'll totally change how your guitar sounds, because most of the sound of your guitar outside of your amp comes from the pickups, because that's the electronics that's actually picking up the vibration of your string and turning it into music, if you will. That's what sends the electrical signal to the amplifier. So, depending on whether they're really strong, really weak, depending on what kind of magnets are used, they can have a very wide range of different sounds. So, if you're not satisfied with how your guitar sounds, my best option for you would probably be just to replace the pickups altogether. Now, option number 4 is another type of electronic modification that people don't really think about all that much. And it's very simple and very easy to have done, and not that expensive, really, compared to, say, the price of getting and installing all new pickups. And that is basically a preamp inside your guitar. Now, if any of you know what active pickups are, you'd know what I'm talking about, but for those of you who don't, active pickups are pickups that actually need electricity supplied from a battery because they have a preamp section that affects the tone of your guitar. Now, they are very expensive, but a cheap option to them is to put in a preamp. Usually it'll replace one of the volume pots on your guitar, and it's then wired from there into your pickups and also a battery case. And what that'll do is it'll make your guitar sound like it has active pickups in it when it actually has passive. And the two big companies that make those are Seymour Duncan and EMG. EMG's is called an Afterburner, and I think the Seymour Duncan version is called just a Blackout preamp. Blackout is Seymour Duncan's major active guitar pickup. And that, it really does change the entire sound of your guitar. It changes how your guitar is going to react, and it makes it sound a whole lot better in most cases. And option number 5, this isn't an option I would go with very often unless you have a guitar that you love how it plays, you love how it feels in your hand, but you hate, and I mean hate, the tone. Because this is a very expensive option, it's a very difficult option. But you can do it, and that is to just gut your guitar, take all the electronics out, and replace them. Now, there are a few ways you can kind of offset the cost of this. Some companies make, for example, for Stratocasters, a pick guard that already has all of the electronics wired into it, except for, like the volume and tone pots and things like that that are external. But for the most part, it would have all of your pickup wires, all of the grounds you'd need, just about everything you would need. And for a good one of those, it can run $150 to $200 plus your installation cost. But that's a lot better than replacing each individual piece of your guitar's electronics individually, one at a time, because of course the installation cost for one big piece is going to be a lot less than for, a little piece here and a little piece there. It'll add up over time, trust me. It may seem cheaper now, but it isn't. So those would be my 5 best tips for improving the tone of your guitar without having to mess with your amplifier at all. Peace out.